Okay, so my name's Jon Robson. I'm a Meta Health Master Trainer and Master Practitioner. I run Meta Medicine USA, and basically I work in a split way with my organization. So I work both as a practitioner with individuals with severe and serious chronic health complaints, such as diabetes, heart disease, um, cancers, insomnia, migraines, pain, to help them to resolve those issues, as well as training other practitioners to become mental health practitioners and to enhance their excellence in delivering that work around the world. Um, yeah, so that's kind of who I am and what I do. My background is as a sports massage therapist. I initially got into the health industry back in 2002 because shortly before that, in the year 2000, my mother had died during an epileptic seizure. So she died really suddenly with no real warning sign for us. She'd have an epileptic seizure every now and then, but she had a grand mal seizure and actually suffocated during that and died. And so after a couple of years of really trying to process that information in my life and figuring out what I'd observed from my mother for her life, I decided to dedicate my life to working in the health industry to create to help people with integrative and holistic health systems, because I saw that just using pharmacological approaches or just traditional Western medicine approaches, it was really just looking at minimizing the symptoms that somebody was experiencing. So managing the symptoms, and the drugs you have to take have to keep changing and get more and more and more over time. And so I knew I wanted to do a more integrative solution. I wanted to understand a more integrative solution. So I initially trained as a sports massage therapist, rehabilitation specialist, working with different postural issues and injuries, and also as a nutritionist and a exercise physiologist. So I would be working with special populations, we call them in the UK, so people with blood pressure issues, insomnia, diabetes, obesity, musculoskeletal issues and pain, and I'd be working with them using those methods that I had before, manual manipulations, exercise and nutrition, and helping them to transform massively. But I still knew that there were some massive components in my work that were missing. I didn't know, I knew that stress and the psychology had a huge impact in somebody's life and how to help somebody to change, because some of my clients had really a lot of success using those approaches, but some, they had these psychological blocks that just weren't helping them to make the shifts that they needed to make. So they had issues with belief systems about themselves, others, the world, issues with their value systems about how to apply the work, and other conflicts and stresses and traumas that they'd experienced in their life that seemed to be in a relationship with the symptoms that they were experiencing. So I knew there was a gap missing in my work. I started to study NLP and coaching and these techniques, and by studying and understanding the mind more and values, beliefs, identity statements, conflicts, trauma, stress, I was able to make even more room for movement and change and shifts in people's lives. But I still had this missing component, is to be like, okay, so how come we can all go through the same experience together, all experience it as our own unique experience of stress and trauma, and all have completely different experiences from that, like symptoms. Our symptomatology would be so different. If you and I went through the same incident together, then we'd have very different outcomes and experiences in our own physical body that showed up in our stresses from that experience. So in 2008, I was introduced to a psychological transformational tool that I'm going to be talking about on the Meta Health conference coming up here in just a couple a week or so, in how to transform our health to create what we call solutions. But in that training, I was able to recognize just how much the trauma that I held on to in my life from the age of about 7 or 8 years old, how it had stayed in my unconscious and was presenting itself as a number of different symptoms in my physical body and mind, and how through changing my thinking, transforming my thinking, I was able to heal my body. In coming back from that training, I still had the question, right now I understand. That was at 23 years old, so I'd been carrying that stress for a long period of time, and the shifts I experienced were found. So I now knew just how much changing my thinking in certain ways could have such a transformational shift in my physical body, but I still didn't have that map that I was really looking for, as to what sort of stresses led to what sort of symptoms in different people's body. And that's when I came across Meta Health, Meta Medicine at the time it was called, back in 2008. And instantly on an introductory training there, I recognized how powerful and profound this work could be, and I began to train and study in it in more depth, and applying it. First of all, I was very skeptical and shy. I hadn't really had much introduction to this kind of work in the past, so I had a lot of questions, and I wanted to make sure that everything that I delivered to my clients was factual. So I had a lot of questions, but I started to apply it in ways with a lot of my clients that had diabetes, heart disease, these sort of things instantly, and the shifts that they were having were so profound, and the system was showing up to be so accurate and truthful in so many occasions that all of a sudden I was just like, wow, this is just how it works. This system, if I can apply it, through applying it, can just help me to speed up my ability to assist people light years ahead. So from there on until now, I've been studying deeper and deeper to practitioner, master practitioner, trainer, master trainer, so that I can help to shift and help others to share this work too. Because I feel like on my own I can only see a certain number of people, but if we work together as a community, we can really share this work to a much grander audience. And I feel like every human being, like people like my mother, my father, my neighbors, my family, my aunts, my uncles, my friends, all of them are suffering from disease in this time. And I know that Meta Health, if they understand the concepts, and it's very logical stuff, and once we can apply that into our lives, then massive shifts can be happening. And so just a really broad shifts and experiences and transformation in our whole understanding of health can happen through sharing Meta Health. So that's why I've been dedicated to this path since I come across it 6 years ago now.
Okay, so you're involved in this year's conference. Just tell us a bit about what you're going to be talking about at the conference and what you're going to be doing.
Yeah, wonderful. So for me, it was really important to help people to create transformational shifts in their psychology and thinking so that their body could truly heal and they could get the experience of vitality like I had. Because when I shifted my concepts and the trauma that I'd been holding on to for so long, my body just felt like it was pure light. For a while there, my musculoskeletal system let go of all the stress and the trauma. My bronchial asthma was cleared. A whole host of different changes occurred in my body and also in my thinking and my mind. So that's what I'm going to be sharing about in the Meta Health Conference. I'm actually going to, in the main training, I'm going to be teaching a section on solutions and how to conceptualize solutions. In Meta Health, we have this concept of resolution versus solution. A resolution is just a change in your life. So as a basic principle, we know that our stresses and our trauma, the mind, body, and social experience are what creates the health that we have. It's our kind of paradigm. And through Meta Health, we can understand the specific social experiences we're going through and the thinking that's associated with it that's manifesting as our physical symptoms. But then it's like, okay, so what do we do with that information? So there's resolutions, which is if your problem was in your job, it would be about getting a new job, or if your problem was in your relationship, get a new relationship. That's more of a resolution. But I wanted to work more in the field of solution. So it's how can I change a concept inside of somebody's mind, inside of their thinking, inside of the way that they are relating to their life and this experience that can then evolve their consciousness to now that's no longer a problem in their life, and they can be in that same scenario, but the transformation has taken place on such a deep level that now it's just got a whole new experience for them. And as it said, when we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change. When we heal on those deep levels, the experiences we get, our external environment is a mirror image of our internal concepts and conflicts that are going on. So when we transform those things, our entire experience of our environment can shift. So I'm going to be talking about how that conceptually works and how the implications of that. And then in the advanced training, I'm going to actually be taking people through some processes to actually implement that work into their life as well.
Great. And what about other speakers and other guests? Who are you most sort of looking forward to meeting or hearing talk?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Oh, sorry, my dog's in the background here. As you can see him, I'm in my kitchen here, so a real homely feel. I'm welcoming you into my house. Hope you like that. If you can hear the dog barking, they're very territorial at times. So I'm really looking forward to all of the speakers. I've got a lot of wonderful peers like Robert, Joanne, Penny Kroll, Dr. Anton Bada is coming, Kwasi is coming, Johannes is going to be speaking. I'm really looking forward to all of my peers talking and sharing their wisdom and insights. There are a couple I haven't heard of before. Lynn McTaggart as well. One of her books, The Field, was one of the first books I read when I was truly trying to understand quantum physics and the healing paradigm. And I watched that film, The Living Matrix, as well, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Dr. David Hamilton, I actually was at his presentation on how the heart, how you can heal the mind with the body. I was on that about 5 years ago now. So I met him there, and I really like his work with oxytocin and how nurturing and caring can really create a healing state. So yeah, I'm looking forward to many different features, but in total, I'm really looking forward just to coming together of people that are aligned with similar value systems and principles. So the conversations we have, in the little corners and in the events and in the breaks as well, I'm looking forward to all of that because they're usually really healing and transformative as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. So I look forward to meeting you in September, and thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, I look forward to meeting you too, and I look forward to seeing any of you there that decide to come along and join this incredible event.